Straight ahead on 12 News, soaring beef prices. We'll show you the impact from the meat counter to local restaurants. Plus, just because tax season is over doesn't mean you should put your finances to rest. We'll have tips to help you rethink your money. But first, scam alert. What Brooklyn Park Police have to say about supposed calls from the IRS. 12 News starts right now. Police are warning about a new way people are being scammed. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. Brooklyn Park Police say several residents were almost victims of the so-called green dot card scam. 12 News reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Someone was really trying to get a hold of me.
Nola Nachi didn't know it at the time, but the man making all the phone calls was bad to the core.
They said IRA, then he said right away, Internal Revenue Service. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I just misunderstood him.
Nola ignored the calls.
Don't try to disregard this message. End the call as soon as possible.
The alarm bells went off.
But they kept dialing her phone. She got a total of 4 calls.
I'd already sent in my, taxes, and I'm thinking, what is this? I don't understand this.
It's a good thing that Nola didn't fall for the scam. Scammers are calling people and telling them to get one of these so-called loaded debit cards. They then tell people to put money on the cards and then call them back with the serial number.
It catches people off guard, so they will quickly do it because it's all urgency.
Nola got an email from Brooklyn Park Police warning her about the scam.
We had 4 reports last week. Now, they didn't all fall for the scam.
But one resident wasn't so lucky.
He was told his utilities were going to be shut off.
The man got a prepaid card, loaded it up, and then called the scammers back with the serial number.
He lost over $1,000.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
Brooklyn Park Police are hoping residents will be wise when it comes to protecting their hard-earned cash.
Trust your first instinct, your gut feeling, as they always say.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Experts say never give a prepaid debit card serial number to someone you don't know. Giving them that serial number is as good as giving them cash.
Will we break a record for April rainfall? That is the question with just a few hours left on the month. Right now, we are oh so close in the Northwest Metro. 0.2 of an inch separates us from the record set in 2001. That year, we had just shy of 8 inches of rain.
We're very close. Whether we'll get another 0.2 of an inch today or not, it's hard to say, but we very well could. Otherwise, I mean, most people don't want any more rain, nor do I. As you can see, it's really wet.
The sump pump is running at Steve Recker's house and the water is pooling on the grass. The New Hope weather watcher checks his rain gauge daily to report the numbers to the National Weather Service. He's been keeping track in New Hope since 1967, and he says it is very unusual to have one storm that produces this much rain.
Just a huge storm that just doesn't want to leave. It's just, it's lingered. It started on Saturday, and it's still affecting us. So. Very long-term storm.
Meantime, as we went to air, repairs were expected to wrap up on fixing a water main break in Brooklyn Park. It forced the city to shut off water to about 40 customers living on Humboldt Circle. Public Works crews also had to close a nearby section of Humboldt Avenue. Our extremely cold winter combined with corrosion on the water main contributed to the break.
The teen who drowned last Friday in a Plymouth apartment pool will be laid to rest at the end of May. 16-year-old Benedict Richardson, a Liberian native, had recently moved to the United States to live with his father. He had spent years as a refugee in Guinea, Africa. Benedict's funeral will be held May 31st at St. Barnabas Lutheran Church in Plymouth. The family is delaying the service so that his mother, who still lives in Liberia, can travel to Minnesota. And a fund has been set up to help the family pay for her visa and travel expenses. Donations could be made to the St. Barnabas Starfish Fund. Well, the season of barbecues is right around the corner, but brace yourselves, you might be in for a surprise once you see how much that meat is going to cost.
Beef prices are at all-time highs thanks to a drought in some parts of the country that have shrunk cattle herds. As Delane Cleveland explains, many consumers will start seeing those price increases at grocery stores and at restaurants.
Cheeseburger and a malt? Okay, $7.38.
During the lunch hour rush, sometimes there's nothing more satisfying than a cheeseburger.
The service is good. We can just call and come in and good food.
Burgers have been Wagner's specialty for the better part of 4 decades.
$5.45.
But Jim Wagner also has to deal with the trials and tribulations of owning a small business.
It ain't getting any cheaper. Oil's not getting cheaper, gas is not getting cheaper.
Neither is the price of beef. In January, he paid about $2.40 a pound for hamburger meat. Now he says he pays about $1 more.
It's hard. You got to get creative in your old age.
Yet sometimes creativity isn't enough. This summer, the consumer will have to take a hit.
I will have to jump my prices dramatically. I will have to add on a minimum 40 cents to or higher.
That was $26.48 today.
Such is life in the business of beef.
We try to establish some kind of a percentage in the middle.
It's something Dick Welk from Osseo Meat Market and Deli knows all too well.
There's been as high as, I've seen them in my time and stuff, and I've been in the meat business for almost 40 years owning the meat market.
At this meat market, they pride themselves on customer service.
Quality's great, and people that work here really know what they're selling, so it really helps.
Something else that helps is that the meat prices don't fluctuate, despite the skyrocketing cost of beef.
I'd rather ride the storm out and be faithful to my customers than raise it up and lower it.
As for how long that storm lasts, it remains to be seen.
I would say we're looking at another tough year and a half.
Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Beef isn't the only meat going up. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that pork prices are up 9% from last year.
The city of Maple Grove has selected a new police chief. That man is Eric Werner, the police chief for the city of Rosemont. He has been in that role since the fall of 2012. Werner also spent more than 13 years with the Burnsville Police Department. The Maple Grove City Council will vote on his appointment at its meeting on Monday night. The city administrator Al Madsen says several things stuck out about Werner, including his experience and community involvement. He also says Werner is highly respected in the law enforcement community.
Friends, family, and fellow firefighters gathered today to say goodbye to Golden Valley's fire chief. Chief Mark Coonley has spent 24 years in the department's top spot and 40 years in the business. Colleagues held a party today at the Brookview Community Center to celebrate his career. Coonley says retiring is bittersweet, but he is looking forward to the days when he doesn't have to wear a pager.
It'll be the first time in 40 years that I haven't been on call essentially 24/7, and I'm in hopes of doing some traveling, spending time with the family.
Coonley says he will miss the camaraderie that comes with working so long with one department and the excitement of responding to calls.
In Brooklyn Center, a long-delayed plan to redevelop a contaminated former fertilizer site appears to have new life. City officials, a developer, and the state agriculture department have been working for more than 6 years to come to an agreement on how to clean up the Howe fertilizer site. 200 tons of pesticides and fertilizers burned in a fire there in 1979 that left the ground contaminated. The agriculture department now says 15,000 cubic yards of soil must be removed and replaced. And Brooklyn Center is asking the state for $1.5 million to help pay for that cleanup, and redevelopment, though, could bring 125 jobs to the city. Coming up, a post-tax season money makeover. We'll have some tips on how to adjust your budget coming up next in Money Savers.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Breck girls lacrosse team battles Minneapolis and the weather.
But first, a breakthrough in the clouds. We may actually see the sun on Thursday. In our Money Savers report, we have yet another reason why being prepared is the key to saving money.
Reporter Shannon Slatton explains why just because tax season is over, it doesn't mean it's time to stop thinking about taxes.
That's right, Mike and Alexandra. The time to start thinking about next year's taxes is today. Financial advisors say it's the best way you can be ready for tax season next year.
Good tax planning starts during the year. It doesn't start after the end of the year, because once you're past the end of the year, you can't change very much.
Brian Vanak with the Wealth Enhancement Group says after you get your tax returns back, you might want to consult with your financial advisor to see if it's the right time to increase contributions to your retirement accounts or 401ks. If you get a large refund, it might be worthwhile to adjust your withholdings.
I would challenge most people to consider is that they are basically giving the government an interest-free loan. You don't get interest when you get your tax refund each year. So I would encourage people to potentially reduce the amount of withholding they have in their paycheck on a weekly basis, which will give them more money to do what they want with today and then pay less to Uncle Sam.
The next most important thing to do right now to plan for the year ahead is to get organized and accumulate information as you go. This allows you to monitor and adjust your budget and deductions as the year progresses. Mike and Alex.
All right, thanks a lot, Shannon. Coming up, creative ways to dress up your pets.
But first in sports, Maple Grove's softball team has to wait to play a big showdown. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back. A former state senator, a doctor, and the man who wrote the screenplay for the Academy Award-winning movie Rain Man will be among those honored this weekend in Robbinsdale. Ember Reichgott-Young is the senator, Barbara Johnston the doctor, and Barry Morrow the screenplay writer, in case you were wondering. All are graduates of the former Robbinsdale High School, and they will be inducted Saturday night as inaugural members of the school's distinguished alumni. The event starts at 6 p.m. Saturday with a rededication of the high school, which now, of course, is Robbinsdale Middle School, and that's the location of the event as well. And the public is welcome to attend. And also among the inductees, our very own John Jacobson. John, shall we say what class?
1979.
Yeah.
I'll be the young person up there. So
that's a wonderful honor. Isn't
very,
it terrific?
Very humbling and a great company, a lot of terrific people. So looking forward to a Saturday night. I still got a speech to write.
Oh, you do? That's going to be hard to do, huh?
I got to get going on that. Let's talk sports. We're going to talk softball. Starting out, Maple Grove's softball team placed 4th in the state last season, and they're off to a great start this spring. As Jay Wilcox reports, they've had to practice patience this week.
It's a showdown put on hold. Maple Grove was supposed to play defending state champion Elk River today in a key matchup, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we were really hoping for it. We just postponed it till next week, so we're still really looking forward to it, working hard so we can get playing them. So it'll be a big game. We're ready.
The fields, they're just soft. I mean, our field's actually draining pretty well. We've been out there, but it would just be too soft and too tough to get ready.
The Crimson expect to be indoors when practices first start. But once they've played a bunch of games outdoors, coming back to the gym is a tough sell. But when your field looks like this, there's little choice.
Because since we had our trip in Florida and everything, we've been outside more than we were expecting. And so in here, you just kind of get a little more bored. But I mean, it's still good work because we're still very consistent when we're hitting, but just a little different.
When they have played it, so far so good. Maple Grove is 5-0 with 4 shutouts and only 1 run allowed.
They've stepped up to the challenge of what we want to be, and they're playing well. We're 5-0 to start the year, and our hitting's been a little bit better than we kind of anticipated, and some kids are starting to find their rhythm a little bit, and we'll keep moving forward from there.
We've all been playing together for a long time, so that really helps. I think we'll keep it going, so we'll see where we go.
They'll wait a couple of weeks to face Elk River. Maple Grove hopes to keep on swinging when the weather clears. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Maple Grove's game against Elk River has been rescheduled for May 15th. The Northwest Suburban Conference has made an adjustment because of the wet spring. Softball teams will now play a single round robin to determine a conference champion. That postponed Maple Grove-Elk River game wasn't just of interest in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Those teams are getting recognition as statewide powers. In fact, Maple Grove is number 1 and Elk River number 2 in the Class 3A poll this week. Lakeville North was rated 3rd and Forest Lake 4th, followed by Jefferson. Then it's Prior Lake and Mankato West at number 6, with North St. Paul, Lakeville South, and Orono rounding out the top 10. Well, these teams should get a gold star for braving the elements. While most high school sporting events were postponed, the Breck Mustangs girls lacrosse team played in Tuesday night's elements as they hosted Minneapolis. The Warriors in black and Abby Sokolowski passing to Mala Carolyn, who scores, and it's 1-0 Minneapolis. Breck's Adriana Keller gives to Lauren Kozakowski. She'll go up high with her shot for a goal. That one pulls the Mustangs within 3-2. Still in the first half, Sokolowski passing to Carolyn again, who comes out front and scores to make it 5-3. Minneapolis in front at halftime. Second half, and from the free position, Breck's Layla Tattersfield with a nice run to the net. She scores. Breck still down, though, 10-7. And they get no closer than that. 6'3" Chase Coley. She'll play basketball next year at Iowa. She scores here for the Warriors. Minneapolis hands Breck its first loss of the season, 13-9. The Robbinsdale-Hopkins Robin CI Division adapted softball team has had some high-scoring games so far this spring. Robins hosting North Suburban, and North Suburban hits well early in this one. Anthony Bankston tags it deep to the wall and left. Nick Reichenbacher and Tanner Titsworth score in front of Bankston, who circles the bases. The Cougars get the maximum 5 runs in the first inning. Good defense here. Robbinsdale's Dylan Solheim robs Garrett Keene of a hit with a nice grab. After trailing big, the Robins battle back. Simone Lynch drills a strong hit to left. Kendall Thiede runs to third base, and when the throw goes out of play, she's awarded home. The Robins within 10-4 after 2 innings of play. Third inning, Terrell Brady tags a nice hit, and this one will bring Calvin Harrigan in for the Robins, but 3 early 5-run innings for North Suburban are too much to overcome. The Cougars win 20-5 in 5 innings. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Still had a Pet Wonderland with a little boogie mixed in.
We'll explain right after a short break. You can make art out of just about anything, and this weekend hundreds of artists will do just that using flowers. A Golden Valley floral designer has spent hours working on his design for the Minneapolis Institute of Art's Art in Bloom. It's the most popular fundraiser of the year for the Art Museum, and you might be surprised to see what gardeners and florists in your neighborhood can create.
It takes a lot of time to put all of this together, so for me it's one of the really special things that happens in the Twin Cities every year.
Thursday's newscast, you meet Frank Bolander and find out how he creates art out of flowers. Finally, a furry-friendly walk in Golden Valley.
This weekend is the 40th annual Walk for Animals. It's the biggest fundraiser of the year for the Animal Humane Society. The goal is to raise $1 million, and the event takes place on Saturday. Check-in starts at 8 at the Golden Valley Animal Humane Society location, with the walk starting at 9. And there's also other activities planned, including music from Boogie Wonderland.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully good weather.
I like
on
that
Saturday.
that dog as a hot dog.
Yes.
It was cute.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4.